last video for this week and the last video for this chapter, most likely, is this problem. And we're going to take a look at factoring, square roots, completing the square, and quadratic formula. So if we wanted factoring, I would subtract 64 from both sides and get x squared minus 4x minus 60 equals 0. And in part because a is 1, that factors, and it factors somewhat easily. Square roots, and this is the method I'm going to use, and even though there's a bx term, I see that this is a perfect square trinomial, and this factors as x minus 2 quantities squared equals 64. So, I'm actually going to solve it using square roots because of that. Completing the square, if you didn't see what we did just here, which is completing the square, you could subtract 4 from both sides, and then the work you'll do will get you to this, so completing the square would work, in part because a is 1 and b is even. Then quadratic formula always works. Okay, so I'm actually going to solve by square roots, and in this case, square roots and completing the square are close to the same thing. Take the square root of both sides. I will get x minus 2 is equal to plus or minus 8. And then I'm going to add 2 to both sides. And I'm going to get x is equal to 2 plus or minus 8. X equals 2 minus 8, or x equals 2 plus 8. X is equal to negative 6, or x is equal to 10. If you had factored this, if you had done by factoring and done x squared minus 4x minus 60 is equal to 0, it would have factored as x plus 6 times x minus 10. So take note here that the factor is x minus 10, but the solution or the root is x equals 10, and the x-intercept of the function would have been at 10. And then here this is x equals negative 6, so the answer, the root, the solution is an x equals negative 10. The factor would be x plus 6. I'm sorry, x equals negative 6. The factor would be x plus 6. And we are good with the videos for this week. I hope you have had a nice week.